Just want to make sure that you guys can hear me as we get ready to go live. You're going to hear dogs barking tonight. My wife is screaming in the background. I apologize for that. Let's see. All right. We are live. We are live. So, a lot of things going on. Pizza guy showing up at my house. But we are going to do our market overview and our market outlook for next week. I am, as we speak, I am cleaning out some people that tried to gain the system in the contest. They went and registered or had previously registered, or whatever it was, a whole bunch of emails, and tried to gain entry um, that way. That doesn't work for me. Also, people that have not confirmed your email address, you have to confirm it. I see a bunch of red X's. If it's not confirmed, it's not me. It just, the drawing software doesn't put you in the drawing itself. But yes, I see where two people specifically just registered a whole bunch of email addresses and started just pounding in entries, um, just trying to gain the system. And so I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm not going to give you a step up on anybody else. Um, I give these things away so everybody has an opportunity to win. There's no sense in you trying to gain the system. You should give yourself the same opportunity as everybody else has. So while I clean this up just a second, gives everybody a chance to hop on with us. I appreciate you guys hopping on. All right. I'll try to think of something for the future here. Um, I'm going to leave one email address each from the two people. I should probably just remove them all together just for trying to do what they did. But I'm not. I'm going to leave one of their emails in while I clean this up. And as soon as I get this done, we are going to hop directly into our overview from this past week and then directly into our outlook for the coming week. I'm hoping, based on the coming week, that we kind of get some breakouts somewhere to where the market at least give us some signs or better direction, I guess you could say. Almost done. I don't have much left. They put a bunch of email addresses in, so one person had like 15 email addresses. But like I said, I'm going to be nice this time. But if they do it again, I'll just start removing them from the entire competition so they have zero chances of winning versus trying to gain the system on everybody else. Chat with me when you hop on for sure. That'd be awesome. Let me know you're here. I'm gonna email the software provider and tell them they need a way that we can better track this. One of them was even smart. They used multiple IP addresses trying to do it. But if their name doesn't match their name in our Discord group, it doesn't matter anyway. Because they will not receive the prize even after they win, and we'll just redraw. I'm excited. Next week, we're going to do our biggest giveaway ever. We're actually going to have multiple giveaways next week. We're going to talk about that tonight as well, which I'm pretty excited about. I think that got that page cleaned up. And let's see. That name cleaned up. One more page to look at really quick. Like I said, they're trying to cheat the system is not going to work. One more thing to do really quick before you hop in. 73, 88. All right, that pretty much got us cleaned up and got our challenge ready to give away for the funded account later on. A couple people on with us. I appreciate you guys hopping on. Yes, we have a much cleaner slate now. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Share screen. There we go. Let me know in the chat that you guys can see my screen. Usman, it's great to see you, buddy. All righty. Let's see. Since we shared the screen, we got to change the color of the logo. There we go. That's a little better. All right, so let's go let's hop in. I want to talk about Bitcoin because we did have a little bit of excitement over there this week. And I also kind of want to talk to you about what's, in my opinion, what we got transpiring and what we could happen and, where we could go from here with Bitcoin. I am not a sold buyer of Bitcoin just yet. I think we're going to have at least one more opportunity at a better price. Um, or at least I feel that way. So, um, but they had to come backwards. They made such a move down so fast. We might as well just talk about it while we're here, get it out of the way, and then we'll go into our normal stuff. All right. So we had this big breakout over the last 10 days in Bitcoin, right? Why? Well, we know traders have become really accustomed to trading order blocks. That's number one, right? So a lot of people have learned about order blocks. They just kind of smash through these order blocks here. Even getting to the final one here, the daily order block, they just went ahead, they smashed straight through it. Why? Well, the answer is pretty simple: liquidity. A lot of people, for now, I'm gonna close this and I'm gonna make this a bit smaller. Yep, and then let's zoom in. A lot of people have been short Bitcoin. A lot of people, especially a lot of hedge funds have been short Bitcoin, which is a little bit surprising when I was looking at the numbers. But there is just a tremendous amount of liquidity at these points. And even going back, I talked about it a couple months ago with some friends of mine. I really felt that Bitcoin would have come back to here a little faster than it did, and I'm okay with being wrong. But I do believe that they've left too much behind. They haven't really cleared any liquidity here. They snagged liquidity here on the move down to move up, but there's a lot left here, and there's still some unfilled um, imbalances down into some old time frames, which would bring us into about right here, along with some equal lows here. That would be a good target. I don't think they're going to go down into the. I don't think they'll go back down to 8,500. I really don't. I think we're going to see a pretty firm bounce. I've said the whole time. I could see a pretty firm bounce somewhere between 11 and 12,000. I mean 11 and 12.5, somewhere in that neighborhood. So somewhere in this zone should be our long term bounce point for Bitcoin. Um, I don't personally trade Bitcoin unless it's just, oh my goodness, the setup is just one of my golden rule setups, which I don't look at it enough to really find that setup. But this is kind of what I'm thinking. I think they've still got some liquidity to take on the buy side. And then I think we'll see another move down. I think it'll come with the market. I think this is kind of floating with the U.S. markets right now, and I think whatever crash could come could bring could bring a push down with Bitcoin on a temporary measure, kind of like it will with our markets. So just something to watch for sure. I think we got the same things going. So let's talk about Euro USD. I'm gonna snatch it over and I'm gonna pull up the daily chart and kind of tell you. Last week, remember, I don't have access to my account that I normally show off stuff on, or not show off stuff. That's a really bad way to put it. That I normally walk through charts with. So all I have is like a new demo account that was set up, and it was one of the few things that wasn't compromised this past week. But kind of what we're looking at with Euro USD is there's this really big point right here. Somewhere about 109.32 is about the number that I would be kind of looking at. But somewhere in that mark there, from these equal highs, I'm expecting a pretty stout rejection. Now, price is going to have to confirm that, but as we talked about the other day, I want to kind of zoom in on the daily here. We talked about the other day. We expected last week. This is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we were here. We expected price to come down, reject, come up, and then make our move down. This is what we expected. Now, we didn't go down and take out the liquidity I expected. This was the area of my interest, as I thought we were going to come down and take out liquidity either here or here. Both are pretty good sets of equal lows in the higher time frame. So I expected a move here to here. They didn't. They went ahead and powerhoused it. We even opened up with a gap tonight, which is really interesting to me. Is opening up with this gap really shows me that this is kind of the powers to at B moving it to go ahead and clear this liquidity. But I really feel confident we're going to go up into this zone. I think we're going to make a double pump here. So I wouldn't get like super excited about it happening. Sorry, dog knocked over something. But I wouldn't get super excited about jumping in it. I want to see some pretty good confirmation. And by confirmation, I'd really like to see two new levels created. And I'll show you kind of what that would look like. So this would be if I'm looking at levels, right? I'd want to see liquidity taken, which that's what we're going to see first. But I'd want to see one level and two levels. I want to see liquidity taken, and then one to two levels, and that I'd like to see imbalance in both those levels, and then I think we'll start moving down pretty heavily from there. So that's kind of what I'm looking for on the reversal side. I do fully expect it will take out this high this week. We have a ton of news, which we'll talk about in a few minutes as well. But that's kind of what I'm expecting, is something to this effect, right? Is move up, out. We talked about last week we're going to go down and then up. We just didn't go down far enough. We made the move. Let's see, go back to the daily. So we made the move from here down, but we never got to that comfort zone for me to hop in, right? Some scalp trades that were possible, but really overall, I was pretty bullish up until we get here, and then I'm looking for some kind of turnaround bearish. That's my outlook on Euro USD. Let's go talk about pound dollar, because it's kind of rolling in the same neighborhood. There is a tremendous amount of weekly liquidity right here. So this is the daily, right? That's daily liquidity. But I want to hop out of the weekly chart and I want to show you something. There is a ton. This is that double pump move we talk about, right? So this wick here, where price rejected from taking out this level here, right? They've left behind a ton. So I'd be targeting somewhere in here on the reversal, something to come back to this point. They could, while pushing up on the euro dollar, they could come into this range here and go ahead and clear out some and get into this imbalance zone. But it's going to be, I think it'll kind of follow the euro USD on when it turns and when it makes the bigger move down. So, the weekly outlook is simple. We're expecting to go up. And then, if not this week, which I think this week is kind of a prime week with the amount of news, I think we're gonna start seeing a short-term downtrend. And when I say short-term, I'm not talking about a day or two. I think we'll see 6, 8 to 10 weeks of a move down. And then there's just something that keeps sitting in my mind on the monthly charts when it comes to Euro USD and the pound dollar. Like, there's so many, especially on the euro dollar. But there's just so much that's been left behind down here. They really could just smash down through here and clear out a whole bunch of people that are on buy side. And you never can overlook the fact that this level here wasn't cleared. And so I expect to come down and move up long term. We talked about this in the annual market overview. So down to up. But that's what I'm thinking on pound dollar. Gold. Something I was going over gold yesterday with a buddy of mine and just talking about kind of where I want to get positioned in gold and silver. I like buying physical gold and silver, for those that are wondering. And this is kind of my, let's get into lower time frame stuff. My outlook on gold, I'm pretty bearish, but I think we got to be bullish first, and then I think we'll come bearish. I think we're going to make the up move. And they've left so much behind. There's so many levels back here that they've left behind. And there's something that has stuck out to me in gold since they made this move. And it's this right here. Like they left behind an absolute ton of liquidity right here. I mean, an absolute ton. I mean, yes, they came down. Yes, they cleared this level here. But before a big move happens, remember my ideology behind the way I trade. Before a big move happens, it needs to go the other way first. And so I think we've been in such a bullish trend. I'm going to remove this time frame indicator off of here so we can kind of see a little better. But I expect a rejection in this order block. I expect us to reject. I even posted on Twitter yesterday. I really believe that gold will see sub 1500 before we see over 2000 again. And we're trading at what, 1930? I don't see them going up and busting the 2000s unless they're going to go right above this mark here, which is possible. I actually said above 2050 is actually what I said. So I think it'll go sub 1500 before it goes. And then I think we'll hop on. This is the chart that I drew yesterday when I was talking to a buddy of mine. But we're going to go up into this zone, possibly even take out the liquidity above this. And then I think we'll move on down into this area, have a short-term bounce back up, and then push on down. I think we'll take out these equal lows here. And this is an area that's stuck in my mind. This is going to sound crazy. People are going to call me a conspiracy theorist. They're going to call me all kind of stuff. But this level here is just absolutely frightening how that's never been tore out. That's 1439, somewhere in that neighborhood there. 1440, 1439, somewhere in that neighborhood, just sub 1450 is an area in gold that I've been looking at for a long time. Going, well, they're going to go back there at some point. And then kind of to go back into equaling things out, if we're talking about equaling things out, they could come back into somewhere in this zone, right? And then I think gold explodes from there. Same with silver. Silver's kind of got the same opportunity. The difference is they didn't really leave behind. They kind of made that double pump move with silver before they pushed up. And now the trend line traders have kind of been suckered in right here. This is, to me, that sucker zone for them that I think they could push above the trend line, and then I think they can come back down. But there's a ton left behind. I don't see them progressing up out of here. And this is the monthly chart, right? And you can kind of tell how liquidity has been swept before each of the bigger moves here. Even here, before they made the bigger move, they swept with this wick here. I think silver's got a lot of potential long term. I've said that for several years. I like to buy physical silver. And then long term, I think I think a target shooting back for the 40s isn't a bad deal. I think we're going to move up, and then I think we're going to move down, and then I think we're going to move back up. I think it'll kind of be the same scenario as I think on gold. And so I'm overall bearish on gold, but short term bullish on gold and silver, for that matter. So those are some things I'm looking at silver. I've been watching those markets pretty heavily. I think they're kind of gonna pop. Let's go ahead and take a look at US 30. This kind of played out last week exactly like we thought it would. Let me get back into the daily chart. We said to begin with what we wanted to see was we wanted to see them take at least this level here, which you can see they've kind of worked their way to that, right? So we'd like to see them this week. We'd like to see a kind of a dump and a pump. And I think that's very possible to see. We talked about this last week. This is the daily chart. Chart was trading here. We talked about it. We said that we were going to reject out of this level last week on this exact call last Sunday night. We wanted to see some liquidity taken, whether it's this level or this level here. I'm not sure why it's not letting me put there we go. This level here, got equal lows here. So we could very well go into this level. But we talked about this happening, and now we've seen the beginning of it, right? So we'd like to see some liquidity taken. There's some in here as well that they could come even lower, but I don't think the pump is over with. I think I think they're suckering in the bears and the short sellers again before making one more pump before I think the bigger crash is coming. NASDAQ played out just like we talked about. We said that we were going to get a rejection down into this zone and then it would pump again. That's what it did last week. Last week we worked our way here. I really felt overall that we would come somewhere about right here. I thought we'd get pretty close into this into this area here, down even into this liquidity void, somewhere in that neighborhood. I thought we could come down and then push up, but I think they're pushing pretty heavy. This one's kind of in a pinch scenario, especially on the higher time frames. You can kind of tell. Let's go out to the weekly. This is just right for the picking here. And in order for, remember, the Nasdaq is kind of behind when you put all three charts together of the US 30, the SPX, and the Nasdaq. With those three charts together, the Nasdaq's kind of trailing behind the other two. And so we looked at the US 30 from an overall perspective. Now we see how deep the Nasdaq dove last year, right? And the SPX, or the E-mini S&P, or the S&P here, we can see it's kind of dug out a little bit further. But this area here, always shining light, that it's right for the picking. Especially on the monthly, you can really tell that this is a high probability of a lower bounce zone. So we bounced off of this order block here. We rejected there. So what we're expecting is something like that. Now, of course, we're always going to wait for price action to determine where we're going to go. Projections are projections. These are just long-term projections. Zach, I bought 500 ounces of physicals here. Oh, buddy, physical is the only way to go. In a pinch, in the kind of pinch that I expect, Zach, just FYI, any precious metal will be used for trading. That's the real pinch, right? We talk about, we talk about certain things, but in reality, gold, silver, platinum, things like that can be traded when pretty much nothing else can. When paper money means nothing, at least those things hold a good physical value. Because I'm a physical buyer as well. And yeah, we buy the large bars and we store them in a certain place, and I will continue to buy more and more and more and more physical silver as we move forward. I'll buy a lot of silver if we go back down into the 18 range. A lot more. Anything sub 20, I think I'm good at doubling through at some point. And I think gold's the same way. So where would be a potential point for the downfall of the S&P? We've looked at levels before. This level here for the downfall, but things are playing out just like we thought they would. The first year we've had just absolute trash price action. I mean, it's been so bad. Who are you talking to? I know. If y'all follow me at all, y'all know I have a husky, and she has seizures. And so she'll come in here and she'll just have conversations with me. She doesn't care what I'm doing or who I'm talking to, or if there's a million people on. She doesn't care. She's gonna come and have her conversation. So she's a true blessing, though. She's an amazing, amazing pet. We're dog family for sure. Is anything you guys want me to look at specifically? Let's look at the dollar futures as well, because the dollar really leads the Euro USD, the pound dollar, those things. Let's take a look at the dollar while we're here. You can see the dollar is just on a tear. I mean, this is the weekly chart, but the dollar has just been on a tear. And look at here. Where are we? Right? So thinking about this from the Euro US dollar, with the euro going up, right, the dollar is going down. And so this plays in perfect with them going up and taking that liquidity, coming back into this area here, before making a long-term decision on where it wants to go. Another thing I think that we need to point out while we're here is we're like this area here, they powered through because that's a lot of retail traders trade round numbers, right? And I'm not really sure how the algo respects round numbers. I know that, with that comes obvious, these things can happen, but this order block right here is kind of a visual for a pretty firm possible bounce, but I don't know that they'll dive it that deep. I think, they absolutely could. You can tell that they're kind of just smashed through this one, but they're on a liquidity tear right now. So this would be a good potential bounce point for the dollar. But they've got to clear liquidity. They've got to manipulate the market, right? So they pound through this order block. They pound through this liquidity zone into this order block and make a big bounce. Remember, this is on the weekly. On the monthly, it shows, as well how they just smashed through that level. And, back here, if you look at the monthly shows something pretty specific here that I think is pretty something to keep an eye on is a monthly liquidity void. You go back into the daily, you can kind of see how prevalent it's been. It's just been a tremendous smash down. And this liquidity void that we talked about, take a look at that on the daily. And so this is very possibly what we could be looking at from the dollar. Yep, USD JPY, perfect. If you've noticed the media around the Bank of Japan lately, the central bank there they've been on it, bud. And they've really made a massive correction compared to where they were. For those that don't know, they were getting smashed. I mean, look at the monthly chart from last year. Like the yen was getting crushed by everything. I mean, the Swiss was crushing it. The franc was crushing it. The pound was crushing it. I mean, the pound had a rough year and was still. I mean, the yen just, and it was really all correction. It really was. So when you go back over into older charts, you can kind of see there was a ton of liquidity based stuff back in above this area against the dollar yen. And then I'm gonna go into some short term, but look how they just smashed through it, right? They just blasted through that area. And all those long term traders that were short USD JPY just got smoked right there. They just got absolutely murdered. But this has been the daily chart. They've cleared quite a bit of liquidity. I think they've still got to move back up because they've left a good bit behind. They've left areas like this behind. And I think they need to go back into those areas again. Remember this line here, which I'm going to change the color on because I'm actually going to leave it on this chart. Change it to gold. But this is that level that we marked off just a minute ago, right? On that long-term monthly chart. This is where they smashed through. This has been a really important level in the past. Notice the rejection here. It rejected hard here. So this could be a point of no return, right? Go back into this area here and then smash back down. So keep an eye for this kind of move here. We're about to run into a monthly imbalance there. Go over to the weekly. We're kind of nudging that thing already, right? They could clear here by smashing through here. So I would have to say I'm short-term bullish. And remember, this is weekly chart. So this is something I'd be looking at a pretty good bounce from here. They also could very well have just bounced this order block because looking at the way that price is moving, they kind of deep into this order block. They could bounce it from here. I'd be watching price action over the next couple of days for sure. Yeah, the way this wick is performing as well. See these wicks, these rejection wicks. Retail traders look at this and go, "Well, that zone's rejecting hard. That zone's rejecting hard." So definitely something to keep an eye on. They're not going to leave that behind. Guarantee you, they're not leaving that behind. So keep an eye on some. Let's go look at like some 15-minute price action over the last couple of days. Yeah, I don't trade a lot the yen, but it does keep you on your toes, especially the pound yen. That thing moves quick. It's fun to trade. Oh, and look at here. Oh, isn't that quite interesting? How they just smash through that level. What better way to start your week than to wake up and get your butt handed to you? Right? You wake up and you're like, oh, leave me, and they smashed the level. So these are some levels to look at before a bounce. Remember, we have a short term down. It would actually make quite a bit of sense for them to do that. And they bounced, obviously, this level here, this order block area from here. You can see that's where they made their bounce. And so I'd be waiting for a good, strong reversal. I said that I would show you guys an example of like a similar reversal that I'd look for. Let me go in here a little bit, dive in. So once price takes liquidity here, let's go to a point of liquidity. Let's go to the 30-minute really quick. Once you can tell they made a liquidity run, which is just, you can see that's just low resistance, right? They come out and just smash through here. I want you to notice something. When price makes the move up almost unrestricted, right? Almost like nothing in, and we have a good prominent break of structure. This area here becomes a really low risk buy area for price to continue. We've swept liquidity. We can tell the market is wanting to make a shift because we've had a really strong displacement. I like to see secondary displacement. Um, and so you can see a second displacement, right, from here to here, where we break structure again while leaving liquidity behind. I mean, while leaving a imbalance behind, which would be right there. And look where price goes back and rejects from. It goes right into this order block here and rejects. This order block becomes really strong when you have area of liquidity. So if you guys follow ICT at all, who's become like the most popular guy on the planet when it comes to trading, and the guy, you can't deny him, he's absolutely phenomenal. Um, but when you have these two areas, right, this becomes a low risk buy. This order block in this area here becomes really, really, really stout to break through, and you can get a really nice return on that trade. I mean, look at this. You could have took an easy 1 to 5 right here. You know, your stop loss would have been at the bottom of the order block, which would have been essentially what, 19, 18.7 pips. So just call it 19, call it 20. And it gets a really, really, really nice move. Yeah, of 120. You could get a 1 to 5 would have been really solid right there. So that's what I look for as far as a breakout, right? So he calls this, he has a name for this, breakaway gap or something is what he calls it, or breakaway zone or something like that. I don't know exactly what he calls it, but just, this essentially becomes a breakaway gap or a breakaway. I look at this as an imbalance in the marketplace. But when you have a second one here and another break of structure, this becomes a really stout order block to move on. And then you start looking, okay, where are they going to go from there? And you start looking at, liquidity zones. Well, here's an obvious one, right? This area here of equal highs. And then the top of that, of course, holds a ton of buy side liquidity. And look what happened. They just happened to sweep that before making just a massive move down. Right. So when you see things like this, is where can price go? Obviously, we're trying to attack buy side liquidity. You can set your take profits in a couple of areas. You can set them, take some profits off right here, right? Take some profits and say, okay, if we're attacking all of it, you can just go for all of it. But this would have been a nice little 1 to 5. Even a 1 to 3 would have been pretty solid right here. Where are we, 18 to 7, something like that? Yeah, you'd about got that at the first level. Yeah, you'd have got your 1 to 3 there on that. So that's USD/JPY. That's kind of what I look for. I want to see a liquidity snag, something that's low resistance liquidity run. I want to see a displacement, a strong move up. Doesn't matter on what time frame this happens, guys. This is on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour daily. It's all there. When you see moves like this is where you want to get in. This is a low risk entry. Is even coming in right here, right? You can even take an entry in this zone here if you want to, or you can wait and get in here. Either way, you can use your Fibonacci retracement tool and hop in on either the 50 or the 61.8. Either one of those, right? Oh, it's just amazing how that comes to the 50. There's your equilibrium area here, price here, here. There's your retracement back to the 50, and price moves on up. I mean, Fibonacci traders, you know how to use this thing. It can become a pretty damn useful tool for sure. So, uh, anybody else want me to look at anything specific while I'm here? Any stocks that you want me to take a look at? I hopped out of some options this week. Had a really good options week because guess what? My options account was linked to a completely different email address. So still fighting that battle as well. So hopefully the next day or two I'll regain access to everything. And I did pass. Y'all want me to take a look at that US 30 trade that I took? That I literally passed a funded challenge phase 1 in one trade. We can look at that on the US 30 if you guys would like to look at that. And I can tell you where my mind was when I took the trade. Let me hop to the 1 minute. Okay. It's Can I help you? It's exactly what we just talked about. Yeah, I mean, it is exactly what we just talked about, right? So we saw a low resistance liquidity run where they snag everything out, right? They bust out this level here. I saw a displacement to the upside here, and I took a low risk, just a little 1%er. No, it wasn't 2%er. Sorry, little 2%er, and I played this order block here. Let me zoom in a little bit for you guys. Y'all see this red candle here? That's the order block I targeted, right? We had a strong displacement. We had a secondary displacement here. When I saw this second one with imbalance left behind, that's when I got in. This is the order block I used, right? Goes all the way, matches this order block over here. And that's where I got in the trade. And that's the wave I rode. Why was I targeting that number? Let me scroll out just a little bit to the 15-minute. This was the area that I was targeting right here. Both of these areas were key areas for me that I thought they needed to take. And they smashed them both. And I had such a nice tight stop loss. And it was that golden setup that I talked about. That very low risk, strong displacement trade. And by the way, I've never passed a funded challenge in one day. So it did feel kind of good. I had a rough week. You guys that remember the Discord, you know that I had a rough week. I needed to shine some light. And that was a very nice light to shine. All right. Anybody got anything else they want me to cover before I hop into the giveaway and then tell you? Well, let me tell you guys first about the giveaway that we're doing this coming week. We're going to do our standard account giveaway. Okay. What's not happening now is the group isn't growing. So I'm going to I want the group to grow. I want to be at 1,000 members of our group by the end of March. That's my goal, my mental goal. I'm putting that into the universe. That's my mental goal. Because I want to help people. I wish you guys could see. I don't have a way to throw a camera on it, but I'm looking finally this past week when I couldn't trade. I got a lot of stuff done. I have an entire newbie course laid out and I'm ready to rock it out. I mean, it literally will take somebody that doesn't know anything about trading and help them. It will take somebody that doesn't know anything about trading Forex. We're going to talk about stocks. We're going to talk about commodities. We're going to talk about bonds. We're going to talk about options. We're going to talk a little bit about everything. And I'm going to deep dive into Forex right behind it. And I'm going to explain to everybody the basics of Forex. This is how it works. This is how retail thinks. I want everybody to understand how retail traders think. And then we're going to take that mind and shift it. And we're going to teach them about the manipulation. We're going to teach them how they use the market. We're going to, I want to show you guys something so bad, but it's not ready. Okay. You guys type in the chat if you want me to show you something really badass that I'm working on. It's an indicator. I'm normally anti-indicator, but I am pro-alert. So who would love to be alerted when this scenario pops up? Right here. Let's go back to the low time frame. Who would love to be alerted when this scenario popped up? Who would love it? Sorry, my wife's in here to bother me.
I'm not bothering you. I'm just letting you know that we might be working on another one.
Working?
Yeah, she's chewing the furniture. And
who?
China.
Our super husky.
You know what that means.
So but the indicator, guys, isn't ready yet. So this is phase 1 of the indicator. I know better than to do this. Notice how we've had it in phases, right? So So this trade filled on the second candle, so it won't show. These blocks that you see on my screen, I'm going to clear out a whole bunch of these objects. Just a lot of objects. All right. 15-minute, 1 minute. So notice the X's here, right? So pay attention to the navy blue boxes and the maroon boxes, right? And I'm going to scroll back just a couple days. And these are going to give indications of smart money buys. Now, this one will show up when we finish the next phase of this, which we should be done by tomorrow, is the hope. But ignore this blue X. It needs to come in one of either the red box or the blue box, right? Red box, blue box. You'll see an X here after tomorrow. The reason being, if you would have saw a really strong displacement like this push up right here versus the little bit of chop right here, you would have saw this instantaneously. You'd see the same blue. But the red X's are for sell in these time frames. The blue X's are for buys. Ignore them when they're outside of the time frames. Here's the red X for a sell. This is a high probability sell inside this blue box. Remember, this blue box matters, right? Boom. Boom. And like I said, once we finish phase 2, now here's another box we're working on as well as this one, but it's not. That'll be completed after. Here's another very low risk sell. So I want you to understand the way I trade, right? So here's our time factor. If I'm doing this, if I'm trading this live, I'm looking at it just like this. I'm going to get in at the equilibrium point. My stop loss is going to go 1 point above. Now they come back and manipulate this right here, but I don't care. I'm out. I'm a 1 to 3. Look at this. Look at this move right here. So we're talking about 19.5 points of risk, and it gains. That's 1 to 5. Money in the freaking bank. So anyway, it's going to show more moves in these boxes. This just, like I said, we're on phase 1 of it, and there's going to be alerts to it. And here's the most badass part: is it's going to be free for you guys. Yeah, about that. I'm not one to chase money. Sorry. Oh, look at this buy. Oh, look at this move. Remember, this is double manipulation. I can't tell you that I'm giving you one that's going to win every time. If I had that power, that's we'll just call that the power of the market maker. But look at this. Booyah. So even if you hop out here, you take a 1 unit loss. You hop in right here and you say, okay, I want to go 1 to 3, or you set your target. Guys, you start setting targets. I mean, say, oh, we're going after buy side liquidity. Do you understand that this is probably like a 1 to 10? Let me zoom in right here. This actually has my attention. So if I'm hopping in on this candle here, that means I'm getting in after this red candle, right? So that is going to be your total stop loss. So we're risking 14, just call it 15 points. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a 1 to. Was that a 1 to 20? 1 to 23? Yeah. It's coming. It's coming fast. And all you people that came in early into the group for free giveaways, y'all thought y'all were just going to get a bunch of shit for free, and y'all didn't realize you were going to get this kind of stuff, though. So here's another low risk buy outside the red box. These will be eliminated, by the way. You won't even see them once we get the next couple phases in. And these will be tradable anytime. These will be tradable during London. They're going to be tradable during the U.S. session. And we got to tweak some rules. We're working on this box now about tweaking some rules for this box, but it's gonna be pretty lit. It's gonna be pretty freaking lit. So, if y'all are excited about that, at least tell me. I mean, come on. Told y'all I got a lot done last week. By the way, couldn't trade my own damn accounts. So hopefully I've been emailing my rep tonight. They're back at work because they're different time zone than United States, and yeah. All right. So drawing. I am going to drag this to the edge of the screen like so. I'm clicking ready to award. And we have a winner. Our winner is this email address. This email address. That is the winner for tonight. Now, the contest next week. I didn't tell you about that, but I'm going to tell you about it now. The contest next week, number one, you're gonna have the opportunity to invite people. There's gonna be our regular contest that we do like this, and then we're gonna have a contest of invitations. And by the way, if you guys are wondering how to invite people, let me change screens really quickly, and I'm going to show you how to invite people to the group. Zach said, "I have been approved in Osprey, but I receive your retype that, buddy. Read that one. Read that one for me. It doesn't make sense to me, but read it for me, Zach, and retype that. I have been approved in Osprey, but I would receive your indicator. But you're gonna get the indicator. Everybody's gonna get the. I'm not trying to do this for money. Maybe one day, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll charge membership fees or whatever. I don't know. It doesn't interest me. I do well trading. I'm highly blessed, and I'm just trying to. How would you receive the indicator? I'm going to post it in the group. I'm going to post a video of how to load it, how to use it, everything. I got something else that's badass coming for y'all too. So I have a risk management tool. These things normally cost anywhere from, $50, $60, $70 a month to even higher prices, where if you pay, get the really good ones, y'all are getting one completely free. I'm building one from scratch. Complete risk management tool. It will do all your calculations for you. You want to risk 1%, you tell it that. You want to risk 0.5%, you tell it that. You want to set your stop loss here, you tell it that. It'll do everything for you, and it will all be free for y'all. I don't know. Maybe make it free for the first 100 members or first 500 members, and then charge everybody else out the ass for it. I don't know. Anyway, next week. Let me pop this thing up. Can you guys see my screen? Just my face. Well, that's a tough thing to have to watch. What about now? Can you see my screen now? So this is how you create an invite. And if you cannot do this, please tell me, because you should be able to do it. You click on the down arrow and click invite people, and then you can invite people by copying this. Each one of these is linked to you. I'm going to be able to track this link back to you. I'm going to know how many people you invited, how many people accepted the invite. Do not be tricky, because remember, they have to come in and they have to have a real name. And I'm going to go through and check all this next Sunday before we draw. And then I'm going to give away a $100,000 funded challenge. Everybody who refers a person gets a name in the hat. If you refer 5 people to the group, to the Discord group, you get more names in the hat. Okay? If you do 10 people, you get 10 drawings in the hat. If you do 20 people, however many you refer to help us grow the group, grow the family here of people that we can help. I'm selling nothing, so it's not like we're trying to sell them anything, right? But for every person that comes through your Discord link and you refer, you're going to get a name in the hat. We're going to give away a $100,000 funded account challenge for you. $100,000 funded account challenge for you. If things go really well and we increase by, I may go bigger, but at minimum 100,000. Who knows? I may get crazy. So, any questions? Any questions? I'm going to have fun. Did y'all see my new Iron Man, by the way, back here? My wife got me a new Iron Man. I'm an Iron Man fanatic. I love Marvel characters. And you see the little guy? See the little guy right here? Yeah, he's kind of hanging out in the middle of all 4 screens. They accompany me while I'm trading. So, any questions before I go? Let me know. If not, I'm going to sign off for the evening. And I think the pizza guy showed up right after we got started. And I'm going to go eat with Landon and Amanda. will it be a drawing like these giveaways or the person with the most? No. So that's what I was saying. So if you send every person you invite, you're going to get a name in a hat. And then I'll probably drag my son out of his bedroom and make him draw out of a hat where everybody can see it. So that gives everybody kind of an equal chance versus just like the one person that knows more traders and more people interested, right? And I'm going to put out another set of rules, just FYI, because it's not just going to be invites. But I'm going to be keeping up with who is chatting in the group. And I've been talking about this. We're coming up with a point system, and the person that chats the most will get extra entries. The person invites. So we're going to have a bunch of entries based on interaction, stuff like that. So outside of our normal drawing, and I'll put these rules out clear tomorrow. So give Amanda and I some time to really sit down and talk about how we can do this and be able to track it without going absolutely crazy. And then we're going to put everybody's name in a hat, draw out the winner, and we're going to continue. The bigger the group gets, the bigger the funded challenges get. So as the group grows, the funded challenges, we're going to give away more of them, and they're going to be higher amounts. I want every one of you by the end of the year to be 7-figure funded traders. All the people that jumped in early, I want them to be 7-figure funded traders by the end of the year. And it's possible. It's all possible. I'm asking nothing of you, by the way. You don't have to buy nothing. I know that's crazy because all these groups are popping up and they're charging people for premium discords and all that. I just want to have fun. I want to be around good people that are like-minded, that want to grow and get to a stage in their trading career to where it supports their family to prepare for the coming fall that's coming. And I think trading something's going to be there, whether we're trading currencies, or whether we're trading CBDCs or whatever it's going to be. The trading's going to be around, and they're not going to change the algo. I don't buy it. This algo has taken money for years and years and years consistently and put it in the elite's pockets, and the big money and the big funds that understand it, they're not going to change it. It's too consistent for them. Doesn't matter what we're going to be trading, we're still going to be riding that horse. So you guys have a good evening. Be blessed. We'll see you in a couple days. I'll try to post in the group about the drawings tomorrow. And we'll see you guys soon. Have a blessed